everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Today we are continuing on with my favourites and non-favourites for the first half of 2022, and today I'm talking to you about my favourite series! Yay! It's going to be a whole lot of fun, so let's jump right to the intro, shall we? Welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads! Let's go! Yes, hello everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. It is wonderful to have your company again today as I look at some of my favourite series for the first half of the year. I have 5 series that I'm going to talk to you about. None of them are in any particular order, but the first one does kind of break the mold, and let me explain why. When I do my favourites and non-favourites of the year, generally there is a month that misses out. Any books that I read in this certain month, they don't really get to be celebrated, and that month is December. And the reason for that is because I do 2 favourites and non-favourites for the year. I do the halfway mark, which is this one, and then I do it at the end of the year. But because I am celebrating books at the end of the year for the entire year, those books that I read in December kind of get left behind and don't get to be celebrated. Not anymore. The first series on my list I read in December last year, and we're going to celebrate it right here, right now. It is the Christmas Tree Farm series by Jacqueline Frost, which is a pen name for Julie Ann Lindsay. Book number 1 is called 12 Sleighs of Christmas. Book number 2 is called 'Twas the Knife Before Christmas, and book number 3 is called Slashing Through the Snow, and book number 4 is on its way out. So why do I need to make a big hoo-ha and grab books that I read in December of last year when I'm trying to celebrate the books, my favourites and non-favourites that I've read in 2022? Well, it is because of how much this series deserves to be celebrated. When I think of just cozy mysteries alone, and my favourite cozy mysteries of all time, this series makes that list, and it just feels wrong to not celebrate it. So, let's discuss it, shall we? I'll hold up book number 1. 12 Sleighs of Christmas. Honestly, I love having these books. By the way, these are my only cozy mysteries that I own that I have in hardcover. And that is because of how much they mean to me. This one, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, took so much to get here. I think I ended up with the last hardback copy, honestly. But I'm so happy that I have them. Alright, holding up 12 Sleighs of Christmas. Sorry about the glare. Let's talk about the premise of this book, which is indeed the premise and setup for the entire series. So, in this book, we are following someone whose name is Holly White, who ends up, she lives in this world that celebrates Christmas to the umpteenth degree, which is just fabulous. If you are looking for a Christmas in July, see what I did there, read, or if you're looking to celebrate Christmas all year round, or to read Christmas books in December, you really can't go past this series if you're someone who doesn't mind a mystery series, because this is a very cozy mystery series. I have to point that out because there are cozy mystery series that aren't as cozy, and then there are cozy mystery series that do feel extremely cozy. This is one of those series. It is a cozy mystery. So, yeah. We follow Holly, who in her town, which I don't remember, honestly, what the town was called. Mistletoe, Maine. Funny enough, worked it out before I even looked. Mistletoe, Maine, where they have all these wonderful events and games and things that go on to celebrate Christmas, including blindfold, making gingerbread houses, rolling snowballs down a hill. I mean, the list goes on and on. Not to mention the quirky characters that are in this series. I have to say, Holly may be the protagonist of the series, but there is a character in this series called Cookie, who is a grandma type lady. She is so incredibly quirky, and I just love her to pieces. I love this series so much. If you love Christmas and you love mysteries, you have to pick up this series. You will not regret it, trust me, because it is Christmas to the, as I've said, whenever I've spoken about the book, without doing it as a non-favorite or favorite, this is Christmas, Christmas, Christmas to the umpteenth degree. And I have picked up my fair share of Christmas books, particularly around December, because I love to celebrate the holiday with Christmas reads, where you get the smallest smackerel of Christmas. Like, seriously, it's so incredibly tiny that the only Christmas thing may just be that you know it's Christmas because the protagonist mentions it in passing. So it was the week of Christmas and a horror show happened. I mean, but not here. This is all about Christmas and it is so fantastic. Thank you, Julianne Lindsay, for such an amazing series, and thank you for releasing book number 4. Best believe I will have the hardcover on pre-order as soon as I possibly can. Next up, we have the Spellford Cove mystery series by Samantha Silver. Every time I hold on up this book, I do something, so I have to do it again. It has the lovely putty on the cover. Meow meow. I seriously, the first time I ever held up this book and spoke about it, I did that meow meow thing, and I just can't help but do it each time I hold up the book. The putty is so cute in every cover. That one. Book number 2, book number 1 is The Witching Flower. Book number 2, Double Double Tartan Trouble. Meow meow. And book number 3 is A Baker's Coven. Meow meow. This series that I now have out of order, this series is just fantastic. It truly, truly is. So, again, it's an adult cozy mystery series, just so happens to be that way. I've read a lot of cozy series this year, so they'll predominantly feature on this list, but I did read most of them this year. I think, if I'm right, I read this one last year, but I read these 2 definitely this year. And this month I actually planned to finish off the series, but I'm not going to do that because the person who originally showed me this series is going to be buddy reading book number 4 with me next month. So I'm very excited about that. But I do need to give her credit, and that is Jessica from Lady Lovestead Reads. I was watching her channel basically this time last year, and she was talking about The Witching Flower and the Spellford Cove series, and it just sounded so enticing to me I had to pick it up, and boy have I not been let down by this series at all. So we're following a woman by the name of Robin, who ends up receiving a letter one day to let her know that her birth mother has passed away. When Robin was very young, she was placed into an orphanage, and she was adopted by these loving parents who she considers to be her parents, but her birth mother has now passed away and bequeathed Robin a bakery that she used to run. So her auntie has written to her to ask her to come down, check out the bakery and work out what she wants to do. And if she wants to meet her auntie and her cousins while she's there, she can do that. Needless to say, because it is a Spellford Cove series, Robin ends up staying and deciding to not only keep the bakery, but to run it herself and to keep on whoever was already working there, and does an amazing job at the bakery. Now, this is a paranormal cozy mystery series because there is more to Robin than she even realizes. She is a witch, and the type of witch that she is a kitchen witch, which means that she has the magical ability to infuse magic within her cooking to receive a desired outcome. Being a cozy mystery series, she uses like joy and happiness and love in her cooking, so that she can make her customers feel happy when they eat her products. We end up finding out a heck of a lot more about Robin as we go along the way, and the putty on the cover, his name is William Shakespeare. He is actually her familiar. He can talk, and his favourite pastime is reading. I mean, you would already have me motivated to want to read the series if I found out that there was a talking cat who loves to read, who is extremely sassy, and goes by the name of William Shakespeare. But moving on and still focusing on Robin, Robin finds out that there is a lot more to her powers as we continue along with the series than just being able to infuse magic into her cooking. There is a lot more that she can do. And I'm going to use a word that generally pops up when we talk about fantasy, but because it's a paranormal cozy, it does make sense. sense here. The world building that Samantha Silver puts into this series is absolutely incredible. In book 1, we learn more about Robin being a kitchen witch, and this is all aside from, obviously, the murder and whatever. It's a cozy mystery series, so there's always a murder, but we find out more about her being a kitchen witch. In books 2 and 3, we learn a lot more about Robin as a witch and the extension of her powers. She can do a lot more than that, so we find out things to do with that. And the final book that I've read, book 3, really ended on a cliffhanger for me because we learn a lot more about her family and certain things that are going on and that Robin needs to deal with, and I just cannot recommend this series highly enough. I've had so much fun with it. If it sounds like the type of series for you, then I highly recommend picking it up. I honestly don't think you'll regret it if you're someone who loves paranormals or fantasies and you're looking for a cozy, comfortable read and you don't mind a mystery. You got all of this in this entire series. It's fantastic, and that is why the Spellford Cove series has made it into my favourite series list for the first half of 2022. Next up is the Deltora Quest series, which that's not book 1. That is book 1. The Deltora Quest series by Emily Rodda. Okay, book number 1 is The Forest of Silence, book number 2 is The Lake of Tears, and book number 3 is City of Rats, and I'm going to be reading book number 4 this month, probably towards the end of the month. So this is a middle grade series, and I just have so much love for it. The first thing I want to point out that's probably fairly obvious is the books are incredibly short. They're all novellas. They're about 120 pages or so long. The font is relatively decent sized, so they are incredibly quick reads. And if you're someone who doesn't mind or actually enjoys audiobooks on one-time speed, all of the books in the series are usually about 3 hours long, so it's incredibly quick to read. The basic setup for the series, so the premise of book 1, setup for the series, is that we're following a prince whose name is Leaf, who at the beginning of book 1 is being coronated to become king. During the coronation, anytime anyone is coronated, they are given, for ceremonial purposes, a belt known as the Belt of Deltora. On the belt are gemstones that have been forged and applied by magical creatures within the community, within this world, basically. When Leaf receives the belt during the ceremony, it is to everyone's shock horror that they realise while the belt is there, all of the gems are missing. So Leaf and a couple of others set out on a questing journey to try and uncover these missing gems. And, yeah, there are 7 to find. So in book 1, we get the setup. Book 2, we're looking for gemstone 1. Book 3, we're looking for gemstone 2, and so on and so forth. Now, I am someone who, if you've followed me long enough, you already know this. I am someone whose least favourite trope is the travelling/questing trope where you don't know where you're going and you don't know how you're going to get there. But my dear friends, Emily Rodda has found a way to make me like this trope because she's done it extremely well. First of all, because the books are so incredibly short, it does make a massive difference, but she brings up certain obstacles that happen along the way in each quest in each book that I've read so far that make it incredibly entertaining. Little riddles or quizzes or puzzles that our characters have to deal with, and it just makes it a heck of a lot more fun. We'll definitely be finishing this series this year. It has just been a blast and a whole lot of fun. If you're looking for a middle grade series to entertain you in your reading for this year, I highly recommend and you can't go past the Deltora Quest series by Emily Rodda. Next up is a series that you've heard me talk about a few times, but now I can actually delve into it a little bit more, which I've been wanting to do for the past 2 videos, and that is the Secrets and Scrabble series by Josh Lanyon. Book number 1, Murder at Pirates Cove. Book number 2, Secret at Skull House. Book number 3, Mystery at the Masquerade. This series is incredible. The first reason why it's incredible, well, because there are so many, but the first reason why it is so incredible is because Josh Lanyon breaks the mold when it comes to cozy mysteries. Every other single book I've picked up for a cozy mystery aside from this one follows a protagonist who is a woman, and that woman just so happens to be straight. There is nothing wrong with that, and I quite have enjoyed a lot of the cozy books I've read with these female straight protagonists. But I went looking to see if there was an LGBTIQ plus cozy mystery series, and I found it. Not only are we following a male protagonist in this series, but that male protagonist just so happens to be gay. And also, there is a whole lot more as to why I love this series, because, I mean, that is just one mold-breaking, inspiring reason for me to read it, but that wouldn't keep me going if that was the only reason. We're following a man by the name of Ellery Page who has been bequeathed a bookstore, a mystery bookstore, and it's been run into the ground, so he's trying to resurrect it and fix things up and see how things go. The love interest is a detective. It's fine, it is what it is, I'm used to that, but it's the first time I'm seeing it play out with two guys rather than a female protagonist and a male detective, but we'll let that go. But we have a bunch of incredibly quirky and fun characters that we're following in this series, all because the series does take place in a town called, or in an area called Pirates Cove, which once was inhabited by pirates, no longer is, and yet the citizens of this town walk around dressed up as pirates as though it's the most normal thing in the world, with the eye patch, the parrot, and the "arr, matey." No one backs an eyelid because it is what it is. It's a very theatrical type of Cove, and I really do appreciate it. The mystery side has been interesting for me to follow. And, yeah, so that's been fine as well. But mainly I love this series because of Ellery and all the other characters. And, yeah, it's just been an interesting series for me. Now, book number 1 received the lowest rating for me. I think it was about getting used to this world, used to Josh Lanyon's writing, the characters, all that kind of stuff. I think book number 2 I gave 4.5 stars because I loved everything, I think, except for the reveal at the end. And book number 3... I could not fault. There was not one thing about this book that I could fault, which is why it made an appearance in my last video, Favorites by Genre. Welcome to my favorite series list officially, Josh Lanyon's Secrets and Scrabble's Cozy Mystery Series. But now, my friends, it's time for the final favorite series that I have for the first half of 2022, and if you've been following me this year, I know that you're expecting it, you're waiting for it. Here it is. The final favorite series I'm going to be talking to you about is the Amish Candy Shop Mystery Series. There are so many books here, it's hard to hold, by Amanda Flower. Let's take a look at the books, shall we? First of all, I'm going to show you the full books that I have, and then I'm going to show you the compendium of novellas. So, book number 1 is A Salted Caramel, gorgeous cover. Book number 2, also gorgeous cover, they all are, is Lethal Licorice. Book number 3 is Premeditated Peppermint. Book number 4 is Toxic Toffee. Book number 5 is Marshmallow Malice. And then I have the compendium because I don't have book 6 on me yet, but I am going to be reading it next month. So this is the compendium of novellas. There are 3 in here that come up throughout the series, and I've delighted in each and every one of them. So the novellas in this book are Criminally Cocoa, Botched Butterscotch, and Candy Cane Crime. And Candy Cane Crime I'm going to be reading this month, and then moving on to Lemon Drop Dead. And then the new release is coming out soon, which is Peanut Butter Panic, and then I'll be caught up with the series, and that will be a very, very, very sad day. Alright, let me hold up A Salted Caramel, because it just feels wrong to hold up any other book, because this is the one that starts it all. So, I remember, when was it? Late last year, meeting some new friends, and all of these friends that I'd met were all talking about one specific cozy mystery series, the Amish Candy Shop series by Amanda Flower. And I was experiencing a ton of FOMO. I decided to add this series to my 2022 SAS list. For those of you who don't know, the SAS list is a series list that Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books came up with, where you put a bunch of series on there and try and either start them, continue on with them, or finish them by the end of the year, basically. And so I put Amish Candy Shop onto that list. I picked up book 1. I'll be honest, I was really scared picking up this one because I thought, oh no, what if I don't like it? And I walked away from this book laughing at that pre-thought I had before starting the book because I loved it so much and I love the series so much as a whole that I can't help but compare a lot of other cozy mysteries that I read to this series. Now, everyone's take on a cozy mystery is very different, and it therefore makes sense that every author's taste of a take on a cozy mystery would be different. But to me, Amanda Flower embodies quite perfectly within this series what a cozy mystery is. It is a mystery that is cozy and comfortable and warm to read, and that is what every single book in this series has been for me. We are following a woman by the name of Bailey King, who ends up returning home to Harvest, Ohio, which is an Amish-run country, to help her grandmother and grandfather who run a sweet store called Swissman Sweets. Her grandfather is deathly ill, that's why she's there to help out. The first night that she arrives, she can't sleep, so she gets up and goes downstairs into the store, only to find a dead body there. And so the store ends up having to be closed till they can find out who the killer is. Bailey King ends up catching the sleuthing bug, if you will, and she decides to try and determine who the killer is so that they can put all of this mess behind them and reopen up Swissman Sweets. But along the way, we still have a lot of great cozy moments, featuring a lot of culinary stuff, so things to do with food. Bailey was a well-renowned chocolatier in New York before she moved to Amish country, so she knows a heck of a lot about food, and so working in a candy store, you know, it's not too much of a difference. She's able to just jump right in and help out her grandmother and her grandfather with all this stuff. And we get a ton of information about the food and the cooking process and stuff like that. And it's just so fantastic. And the Amish people who live in this town are just so wonderful. I mean, I get that it's a fictitious series, but to me, I feel like I have some of my best friends in this series. Like, what's her name? Julia. A lot of people don't like her. I think it's Julia or Julie, whatever it is. I love her. There is a pig that we can see here, but probably not the best depiction. I'd probably say that's the best depiction of the pig right there, whose name is Jethro. He is a big part of the series. His owner predicts him to be the biggest star in the world, and I love that. We have a wonderful reverend in the series. We have Bailey's cousin, her grandmother, Bailey's best friend, who knows nothing about Amish culture. I really could talk about this series all day long because it is just so incredible. If you have not read a cozy mystery series before, I highly recommend starting here. If you have and you haven't picked up Amish Candy Shop, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. This to me is the pinnacle of cozy mystery series, and this is exactly what I want when I'm looking for a cozy mystery series. Amanda Flower, thank you so very, very, very much. But that is it. Those are my 5 favourite series for the first half of the year, including the Christmas Tree Farm one, because, you know, my channel, my rules, and I wanted it to shine. But what were your favourite series for the first half of 2022? Let me know in the comments section below. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it, letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. I try to post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I'll see you again soon. Mwah! Thank you so much for watching. Please do be kind and love one another, and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, say it with me. Happy reading! Bye, everybody!